Well, it is the day after the night before at Kenilworth Road. What was billed as one of the biggest games of the season for both Plymouth Argyle and Luton Town. The bottom two in the Championship battling it out, and boy, was it a battle. Maybe a vital point come the end of the season. We will have to wait and see. But not the prettiest of matches, but that is what this stage is all about when you are scrapping and fighting for your life. This is Argyle Analysis, and once again I will be joined by Aaron Cusack to try and find out why things happened in the game the way they did. Because Aaron, it was a fight, wasn't it? That was a battle of a match.
It was, Charlie. Yeah, it was a scrap, wasn't it? It wasn't a classic by any means, but it was a dogged two teams going hammer and tong, kicking it long, heading it long, sticking bodies on the line. Pitch didn't look great. You know, it was just almost like a bottom of the table scrap, which it was. Thankfully, a point achieved. Didn't lose any ground on Luton.
Yeah, and you know there was a lot of talk before the game from both camps. You know, they weren't playing down the importance of the game, but they were trying to kind of talk about getting the focus right for the game because it was such an important game. Who comes out of that happier, do you think?
Well, I mean, that's a good question. I mean, I felt that it's a good point for us in that it was a scrappy point. And when you are in that mix of teams in and around you, you haven't lost any ground on the teams around you. So that's first and foremost, don't allow your opposite number to get ahead of you. And it was a difficult surface as well. It's a really tight pitch with the ground kind of really quite low and on top of the pitch. So it could be quite an intimidating environment to go to. So I think it's a decent point away from home, haven't been beaten. That's key. Now they've got to try and capitalise that into the weekend where we've obviously got an more important game at home. Yeah,
absolutely. Cardiff, they keep coming, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Let's have a look at the goals, basically. Two goals, one apiece, both in the second half. Luton hadn't scored in 2025 at Kenilworth Road.
No, so it was obviously going to come at some point, and sadly it came against us, and it was a lovely little knockdown. And was it Jacob Brown, like first touch? He'd been on the pitch like 30 seconds or so. So his touch count at this point was 0. And by the time he'd had his first touch, you know, we're picking the ball out of our area. And, you know, it was an unfortunate time to go behind as well. It was similar to Blackburn. We went 1-0 down 10 minutes after half time. But they rallied, didn't they? Such came on, who I thought was really impressive when he came on. And then Big Maxi, who's, you know, been used to clearing with headers, got up the other end of the pitch and delicately put away a header at the back stick. So it was nice to see the resilience to come back, because that's 3 times in Miron Music's era that they've come from behind. West Brom, Sunderland, and then Luton last night. So they're showing that resilience to not give up and grind out something from games.
Yeah, and it would have been quite, you know, conceivable that, you know, a side that's only scored 5 goals away from home, hasn't won obviously, go behind in such a big game. You know, the atmosphere is always quite good at Kenilworth Road.
Yeah.
To kind of, and it was a game of very few chances from Argyle's point of view, so they knew they had to make one of them count. As you say, Big Maxi with a delicate header, celebrated it like he does a tackle.
We love to see it, you know. And what's good as well, Charlie, is we know he's a threat on the opposite end. So if you look at Katic and Maxi in the last 2 weeks, they've both opened their accounts. So they are a threat in the opposite end of the box, which is what you need when you're trying to grab something from a game. And we were, you know, if the attacking line isn't firing on a game, at least you can call upon maybe your defensive secondary units to come up with what was a vital point.
We just saw the Luton chances there, and we've seen the goals, but that was pretty much it. Defensively, again, Argyle were pretty colossal with the way in which they cleared the ball.
All 3 of them, weren't they? Paulson, Katic and Maxi. I mean, the stats said it all. Their clearances, their headers, their blocks. We know that that's a constant now. They're going to chuck themselves in front of everything. They're going to head everything. They're going to kick everything. They're going to kick it long. You know, so we know that this is going to be a constant between now and the rest of the season. And that's outstanding to see, because I think, Charlie, they all want to help each other as well. It's almost like they're having their own individual battles on who can kick it and head it and clear it the most. Yeah. You know, but they're not easy clearances either. They're chucking themselves in front of the ball. They're wrestling 2v1 moments. And this tackle here, like that's in the 94th minute. You know, not only that, it's the physical exertion as well. And just to see them together, helping each other, is a testament to their attitudes to defend. I think their attitudes to defend...
And they love it, don't they?
They love defending, you know, and that's almost like a dying trend. You don't see players nowadays who love to defend. And those three in particular, and Pleggy, and for Such coming in, you know, Such will learn a lot from these guys. Like, they love to defend. And if you've got people who love and are passionate about their craft, i.e. being defenders, then you know you're going to get almost everything every game in that department.
Let's have a look at the table. Argyle's game against Luton was the only championship game that was taking place on Wednesday night. So Argyle stay second bottom. They stay in 23rd. They are now just a point off safety, but have played a game more than Hull. We've got Cardiff highlighted there as well, Aaron, because that is the next game for Argyle on Saturday, 12:30 kickoff. We also play Hull, Portsmouth and Derby in the next month. So, you know, it is, without a shadow of a doubt, a season defining the next 4 weeks, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, those games, got a couple of them at home as well. Derby here, Cardiff here. They're huge. I mean, and Saturday, following on from a draw on Wednesday night, you kind of now look at that, and I think Miron Muslic said it afterwards in his post-match interview. This point becomes humongous, colossal, if we win.
Yes.
Against Cardiff, and you know that has to now be that mindset, doesn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. They've got to be aggressive going into the fixture on Saturday because they're at home. The Green Army will get behind them. We're in okay form as well. You know, it's not like we're struggling.
I know we lost over the last 5 games.
Oh right,
in terms of form in the league.
So we're in decent form. We're in good form. You know, we're starting to win at home again. You know, is it 3 wins in a row in home, including the Liverpool game? Yeah. Yeah. So we've kind of got like 3 wins in a row. So we're kind of getting that understanding of how to win games at home again. And in different ways, we've won the game as well. Coming from behind against West Brom in the 75th minute, grinding out a brilliant win against Liverpool, going early in front against Millwall and taking the game away from them. So there's different variants of how they're winning games. They've got to try and maintain that and take it into, you know, they don't need you and I to say how important the game is. We know that. But the Derby home game is massive as well. You know, you've got to really make sure you don't give an opponent anything at your home turf, especially in the current state that we're in.